it's Raquel Bowman here, and today I'm here playing with the March hip kits. I'm scrapbooking this photo of my little girl that we took recently at a local park, and I just adore it. I think she just looks so beautiful. So I printed that off pretty much right away to scrapbook. Then I'm using my white cardstock as a base, and I've enlarged Ashley's cut file to make a really big feature with the flower design. And then I cut a couple of the extra leaves, which I used the knife tool and just the eraser tool to clean it up a little bit to cut these. Now you can see that it's a little bit jagged and it's a bit imperfect because of how I had to erase off the rest and then enlarge it, but I'm happy with that and I'm fine with that, because what I'll do is layer it under here and you sort of won't see those bits anyway. So my idea was to do something like this on the page, have my photo on here, and I really don't want to cover up too much of that flower, so I'll have to arrange it in a way to make it fit so that you can see it. Then what I've done is I've grabbed a few of the papers that I thought would coordinate with this photo. So my daughter's wearing sort of a charcoal coloured dress with some grey and white leggings, but it has copper stars on it, but in this photo they actually look a little bit coral looking. So I sort of went through the pattern papers and grabbed sort of that grey, green, coral tones. So these are from the 6x6 Pink Fresh paper pads or paper pack. And then this one here is one of the exclusives by Kim, and it's called Soar from the Just Dream collection. And my idea for this was to pop it behind the leaves, so you've got that bit of green poking through. And then I thought with my photo, I was thinking I'd like to mat it on this, or layer it on this grey, as well as one of the other pattern papers. I thought with this one I'd sort of cut this up and use some of the quotes for layers and a bit of embellishment features. Apologise if you can hear my kitties in the background, they're outside at the moment playing. And then I've grabbed some of the embellishments, so I thought I'll try and fit in some of the tiny word stickers. Thought these cute little coral bird would be perfect. Even this fresh air, it never felt so good, and I am loving it since she's playing at the park. That's perfect. And then there's also some corally accents in this collection, so really the colours in this are perfect, I feel, for this photo. Then what I did is I've just got a tray that I bought at a local cheap shop, and I thought that I'd go through and choose anything that might match this page. So I'm going through and I'm sifting and finding any grey or that peachy colour or green from here. That's vellum, so that can definitely go in. So anything at all. And then that will give me a range of embellishments to use once I start embellishing the page. And it just makes it a little bit easier if I've sifted through a little bit already. I always would pop black in because that just adds a bit of contrast. They're perfect. And then from this one, these will be probably a bit harder to find, those perfect pieces, but I'm just doing the same. So I'm just sifting through, and I'll pop on this side the things that I think might go. Some of them might be able to stretch, but I find it's easier if I've got a bit to choose from rather than a whole packet. That might work. That's sort of bringing in aqua colour, but it's got the green in it, so that could work. Just don't know until you try sometimes. So I've sifted those, so I'd probably select from these two here when I'm embellishing using those. I've got the Studio Puffs ready to go. I've grabbed out, of course, the Pink Fresh beautiful pack, and I will go through these in a moment and do the same thing to them. Got the L Studio veneers and the enamel or candy dots, and then there's a few other bits and pieces that I will pull out as I go if I find I need that little finishing touch. But for now, I'm going to work on backing my cut file, which is the time consuming part, and then I will look at arranging my page. Okay, so I'm beginning by grabbing the cut file and then one of the Pink Fresh Studio papers and just cutting the center for the flower. And I'm using more of a white with a coral print for that central piece. You actually really don't end up seeing any of it on the layout, which is a bit of a bummer, but I've covered all of the cut file anyway. And now I really love this coral paper, and this is from the 6x6 paper pad from the Felicity collection. And what I do is instead of tracing the whole thing, I only wanted sort of the outer petals to have that coral paper. So what I had to do was trace the petal, cut it out with a border so that I could then adhere it onto the back of the cut file. This was quite time consuming, and a couple of times there I muddled up and had to do it again, but it meant that I had enough of that beautiful pattern paper to fill the whole thing, like you can see there. And then I decided that I wanted to add a bit more of a pop of colour on that other central ring of the flower, so I just used the house print 6x6 sheet, but you really can't even tell that it's just a house print. It just looks like a pattern paper with a bit of green, a bit of coral, and a bit of the blue. And now what I'm trying to do is figure out how I wanted to back the leaves, and I found the exclusive piece of paper designed by Kim as a bit too bold for what I wanted for this layout, so I end up using another one of the Pink Fresh papers, and it's sort of got a blue and a green print on it, and I popped that on the leaf that is, or the leaves that are attached to the main flower, as you can see there. And then I decide for the second flower, which I want to sort of weave and pop right near the other leaves, I decide to use some vellum. So you've still got the skeleton of the leaves there, but it's a really subtle backing to it, and I really love the way that turned out. And then for the last leaf, which you'll sort of bundle of 2 leaves that you'll see in a moment, I use that same pattern paper again, and I'm happy with how that turned out in the end. So I did some fiddling, and I ended up changing the position of the cut file and sort of flipping it around the other side so that that bundle of leaves is to the bottom left corner instead of the top right corner. And the reason was so that I could position the photo where it is right now without covering up too much of the leaves. It does cover up a bit of the flower, but you still see the main coral petals, which is really what I wanted you to see. And now I'm going through those embellishments that I've sifted out earlier. Especially I did go through the Pink Fresh ones and do a similar thing to what I did before as well. And you can see all my embellishments to the right there. They're the embellishments that I thought would really work with this page. So it's funny because I go through a process with my embellishments of sorting what I think will work, and then I sort them again into what color tones I might be using on the page, and then I sort them a final time, which you can see on my desk, for things that I think I definitely could make work on the page. So it does seem like quite a long process, but I get the result that I'm after in the end. It just might be a long way to go about it, possibly, for some people watching. And what I'm doing at the moment is I've actually done when I look at this layout, a similar layout to my layout last week with all of the butterflies and the large die cut that I did. And by that I mean that I have a feature die cut in the middle, and then I have your photo corners in the top left and the bottom right corner. This wasn't intentional for this layout, but obviously that's just what I've been drawn to the last couple of weeks with my creating. But what I was trying to do was, because you have that focal point smack bang in the center of the page, you've got the photo off to the right a little bit. I just feel like those photo corners add another cluster, which I do the whole triangle sort of balanced thing in when I'm scrapbooking and with the design of my pages, but also because it does draw your attention back into my focus, which is my photo. So on the top left corner, I've got a bit of a cluster and embellishment grouping of some of the pattern paper and some of the L Studio die cuts, and I'm just adding a staple there to give it a bit of texture and something a bit different. I end up using that gorgeous little scalloped vellum piece and that grey heart and that little birdie from the Felicity Pink Fresh Studio collection, which I thought was very cute. And that is also a coral heart up there. And down in the bottom right corner, it's just made up of your photo corner that I've done, and then also some paper strips cut into sort of flags and things. And it's just another sort of thing that you can look at on the layout, and I'm hoping that it would draw, being on the corner, eyes back into that photo. On my photo, I've layered vellum and some of the pattern paper from the 6x6 pad, and then also some photo corners, which I saw that I did last week as well, but I've done it again. And then with the embellishing, I'm just sort of working on a cluster to the right of the photo. On the left of the photo, I've just popped a little photo tab, and I want to put my journaling on that Oh Happy Day journal spot. So that's why I'm trying to leave that bit bare so that I can pop a little bit of journaling on there. And just talk about how we were at the park, and it was a lovely day. It was actually my birthday that day, and it was a really nice way to spend it as a family. My husband was off work as well, not because it was my birthday, but just it happened to fall on my birthday, his day off. So it was just, yeah, a really lovely little day to spend together, and I just wanted to add that in my journaling. I'm adding some of those absolutely super cute sequin puffy stickers from the Pink Fresh Studio collection, and I will add some of the candy dots from Basic Grey just to finish, because I like grouping those sorts of small embellishments in 3. And then I'm working on my journaling on my typewriter, and if I ever make a mistake with my typing on my typewriter, what I'll do is just go to the next line and type that line again. So it's quite forgiving in that you don't have to put an errored piece when you do strip journaling, a piece of journaling that has an error in it, because you can just simply type it again and just not include the strip that you made the mistake with. So I love doing that and being able to do that. And I'm just moving that cute little awesome ephemera piece down to the other corner, because I felt like it was going to cover some of that journaling and I wasn't going to fit it all in. I finished the page with some Coral Heidi Swap Colour Shine, and I had a bit of a disaster with this one because the seal that's meant to be at the top of the bottle, there you can see, just splattered and fell out onto my page. So I'm super pleased that I covered my photo, otherwise that would have been all over my photo. I'm leaving you with some close-ups now, and that's my finished page. Really hope you've enjoyed watching this video today, and I will be back soon with some more videos. Thanks again to everyone who subscribes and likes my videos and leaves me comments. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.